Now I'm going to spend the next few moments just telling you a bit about building for the future. We felt as a team that we've been feeding you little bits of information or not really much information, if we're really honest, because not a lot has been happening, you might think. And so we wanted just to take the opportunity to spend maybe the next 5 or 6 minutes telling you what's going on, where we're at, and to just refresh that vision so that as we make progress we can all be behind it, especially as we think about coming back together and worshipping here in the church together. So you'll remember the project called Building for the Future is it's one project but 3 different parts. There's a new building, there's an improved welcome by improving the site and improving our facilities. And then finally we wanted to get some more resource to help grow our ministry here at Holy Trinity. And so here's a little bit and a few photos of what we've managed to do since we last updated you, which we realise now was back in September. So here we go. There's a few photos to go alongside of it. So we've resurfaced the whole site. There's new tarmac everywhere. There's not a pothole in sight. For those of you who remember the site, you will remember it was full of potholes. Secondly, we've improved the entranceway into the church. There's now a smooth ramp all the way up, no cobblestones, and so for everyone getting into the church, it's really easy, and we look forward to welcoming you again. We've improved the parking. We've got some new parking outside the vicarage with some extra spaces. There's no broken paving slabs, and we've also got some new parking outside the main door, where we've allocated some disabled parking and some drop-off spaces for people to get to church easily. And across the site we've put new signs up so that we can help people get around. You may know where you're going, but if you're a visitor you may not. We've put in some cycle racks so that all those people that are going to cycle with our new fitness found over lockdown will all be able to walk and cycle to church. So actually we won't need those parking spaces, but we'll be needing more cycling racks. That would be a great thing if we needed more. We've put in a new shed in the which you can actually see right behind me to store all the garden machinery and also store some of the equipment that we used to keep in the blue shipping container, which has gone. And then finally we've redecorated the lounge and the lobby of the church, and we're actually using the lounge in the church as the church office at the moment, because as you'll remember, the classroom porta cabin and the office porta cabins have gone. They are ready for the new building. So all of that work is finished. The site is ready. And secondly, we've been really pleased that we are going to get some more resource to help us with our ministry. Hopefully you know the name The Frosts. Well, they are coming to join us. They should be arriving in Macclesfield sometime in June, and then in July Johnny will be starting as our curate. He'll be joining us for about 3 years, and part of what he'll be able to do is to help us develop our work amongst the community in Herdsfield and beyond. So we really look forward to welcoming them, and please do be praying for them as they plan their move and finding schools and all the things that go along with moving house. It'll be great to welcome them. So the final part of the project is the new building, and if you've been to the site you will know that we do not have a new building yet. You'll remember in January 2020 we shared some pictures of what the new building might look like, and you'll see it there. That will remind you of where we're headed. Well, since then we have got permission for doing this new building. We've managed to get permission from the diocese and from the local authority. We've moved the classroom, we've moved the old office, so it's ready, and we've also chosen a supplier. It's called they're called Swift, and they're based in Adlington. Now, over the last year, along with the whole of the construction industry, Swift have been challenged by various things. But firstly, the demand for its buildings, which mostly are small garden offices, has boomed. As everyone, especially in the southeast, has decided, I'm no longer going to head into London, but I'm going to build a little office in my garden. So their business has grown significantly. The pandemic and Brexit have put significant constraints on the supply of all materials. Random things are very hard to come by at the moment. But it's also meant that their suppliers have become much busier and have been struggling to give them the information that we need. And it's this last bit that's really caused us our delay. We need to design a foundation that is going to be allowed, given that the ground we're building on has graves underneath it. So it's slightly more complicated than Swift are used to working with. And they've struggled to get the information from their suppliers to allow that to happen. So because of these delays, back in February, the Building for the Future team decided we would just stop for a moment and just check that God wasn't trying to tell us something that we needed to stop or we needed to change our plans. We always pray, don't we, that we would listen to God and he would show us. And so we stopped for a moment and we had a discussion with the team, and a couple of others joined us. And the outcome of that meeting was far from us saying, yes, we think God is telling us to stop. Actually, we felt that God was encouraging us to carry on. We felt really positive about all that God was doing. The vision we have for how that building will be used is still there. In fact, following COVID, it feels that it's even more important that we have good facilities. We've been really made aware of the needs within our community over the last year, and I think people have been excited by the possibility of meeting some of those needs. And so we want to carry that on. But also we've seen that we can connect with people in different ways and draw new people into our community through technology and through different groups. And so we've been really committed to making sure this building carries on. But it's unlikely that we'll finish the building until the autumn. So that's the rough timescale we're working on. We hope that by the autumn we should have the building ready and complete. But how are we doing in terms of fundraising? Let me update you. I still stand here amazed by the generosity of you all. You'll remember that originally we had a budget of $383,000 that we wanted to raise money for. Because of some of those things that I've been talking about, we think the budget may go up slightly. But it's my privilege really to stand here and say that already £341,000 have been given. That's already in the bank. And it's ready to be spent. We've spent some of it on the work we've done already. But what's even more amazing is actually that we still have folk who have pledged to give money, which brings the total up to 400,000. So even though we've got these challenges and some delays, we still are confident that we'll be able to complete the whole project without any problems. So if you've still got money that you've pledged to give, please do be in touch with Pip and let him know, and he'll be able to tell you when you can pay that in and when that will be helpful. And thank you once again to everybody. And I really mean everybody. Virtually everyone in the whole church has contributed something towards this project. So thank you, because as a team, as we lead Building for the Future, it's so important that we know that people are behind it. It's not just us driving a project. So thank you. So aside from that giving, what else can you do? Well, we've held on to this verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your paths straight. We want to continue to pray that we would be able to finish the project. But right from the beginning, I've been absolutely clear that Building for the Future is much more than buildings and tarmac. We want it to make a real difference to the growing kingdom in this place. And a few of us before Easter set about fasting, and one of the things we wanted to concentrate on was Building for the Future. And a verse that God gave us as we were praying was this, from Psalm 24. Lift up your heads, you gates, lift them up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Some of you may remember a song by Delirious, which said this, swing wide you heavenly gate, prepare the way of the risen Lord. And so as we prepare to open up the doors of our homes, to open up the doors of the church, I really want to encourage you now, in this moment, not waiting for another 6 months, but in this moment, to be asking God, what do you want me to do, God? In my own life, in my personal relationships with people around me, and as part of Holy Trinity Church, what part do you want me to play in your growing kingdom? You see, we can build all these buildings, but unless we are committed to sharing the love of God with others, how will they hear? That the buildings won't speak, but when we speak to people and invite them and allow them to join in, then God's kingdom will grow. We were reminded by Erin last week, weren't we, of the story of the feeding of the 5,000 and how that little bit that boy could give created food for so many. So I want to encourage you, don't worry if you think that what you can offer is small, because if you offer it before God and are honest to God, then He can make it sufficient for everything. So please keep praying. Please do pray for us as a Building for the Future team, that we would continue, that we would make good progress as we work with Swift. Pray for the Frost family as they prepare to come, and we just look forward to welcoming them. And pray for your role in the building of the future of God's kingdom.